Hey guys, welcome to the shop. It's me, Kyle the Tool Rambler, and today's topic, as I'm sure you've figured out, is Milwaukee, specifically Milwaukee hand ratchets, not the power ones, although I do love them, but we're going to be talking about the hand tools today. I've had these ratchets for about 4 or 5 years. As you can see, this 3/8 is still new and shiny. I haven't used this particular one too much. This one and the quarter came out of my pack out, which I use if I'm traveling. I keep it, I can throw it in the truck, take it with me. It stacks onto my pack out gear, and they've come in handy a few times. But I also have the quarter, 3/8, and 1/2 inch sets in my shop toolbox, and I'll do an additional review on the full socket sets coming up in the near future. But right now I'm just adding to my series on ratchets. So as you can see, this one has been through the ringer. I've done a few brake jobs with it, replaced wheel bearings, just general mechanic work on my truck. And I think in the process, I got some brake cleaner on it, which I did not clean it up as well as I should have. And as you can see, it's nice and pitted. You can still read the Milwaukee logo, but you can't read the model number. This particular model number on the 1/2 inch is the 48-22-9012. The 3/8, I think you can read that one. This one is the 48-22-9038. And keeping with that nomenclature tradition, the 1/4 inch is the 48-22-9014 for a 1/4. I don't know if that's focused or not, but you can see that. I use this one a lot, the 1/2 inch, doing work on the truck. And like I said, it got some brake cleaner on it, which I think pitted the chrome. And my shop is not climate controlled. We don't have heating or air conditioning. And unfortunately, I neglected it. It got some rust on it, but I was able to get it off, but it left the pitting, but it still works pretty well. So Milwaukee was founded, as you would guess, in Milwaukee, Wisconsin in 1924 as the Milwaukee Electric Tool Company. Milwaukee's mostly known for their power tools. Their first big success was the hole shooter. It was a handheld drill, which was pretty unusual for the time. It first came out in 1918. That was before it was even known as Milwaukee. That was invented by A.H. Peterson. Later on, they had a fire, burned down the factory. One of Peterson's partners bought it out, and in 1924, I believe, he formed the Milwaukee Electric Tool Company. That's where we get the name from. So it's been known as Milwaukee for 101 years now. And pretty much it's been known for power tools. They started with a contract with the U.S. Navy in the 1930s to make power tools. In the 50s, they created what we know as the Sawzall. It's Saws-all, A-L-L, not Sawzall, like a lot of people say. That grinds my gears. But yeah, they invented the reciprocating saw that we all know and love. But anyway, they weren't in the hand tool segment for the first 90 years or so of their existence. And in 2010, maybe 80 years, I can't do my math. In 2010, they got into the hand tool market. This is around the same time that they were bought out by the Hong Kong-based TTI group. Tektronix International, I believe is what that stands for. That's the company that also makes Ryobi, Homelite, Hart, Hoover, Oric. They manufacture their tools in China, Vietnam, Mexico, the U.S., and Europe. So most of the power tools are made in either Mexico or recently they started to be made in Mexico. They were made in Hong Kong for the longest time, or Vietnam. Let me see what this says. I should have looked at this before, but I don't even see it on here. So, of course, it wasn't made in the United States if it doesn't say it. But I'll have to look that up. So the battery says, I don't know if you can read that, but down there at the bottom, I can't get it far enough away, but the cells were made in either Korea or Malaysia with additional processing in China. So they got the batteries from Korea or Malaysia, and they put the batteries together in China. This actual tool doesn't really say where it was made, so I'm going to assume it was China. Oh, nope. Professionally made in China by Milwaukee Tool Company. Says right. You're never going to be able to read that. But anyway, we're not talking about power tools. Today we're going to be talking about the ratchets, and I'm going to disassemble and kind of show you some of the things I like and don't like about the ratchet. I have a lot of ratchets. I'm a big fan of ratchets. I always have been since I was a kid. I just love them. What I use them mostly for, I was for a while I was in the pool maintenance business, so I took apart pumps, filters, heaters, heat pumps, all that kind of stuff. Just anything that you would need to maintain a swimming pool or a hot tub, that kind of stuff. So I did use the ratchets a lot. And my go-to ratchet, even though I own ratchets from pretty much all the major manufacturers, Husky, Cobalt, I now have some Icons, I think you've seen in some of my videos, Snap-on, of course Craftsman. For the longest time, Craftsman is what I used around the shop, but when I got into the maintenance business, I started to use Milwaukee, and I really liked them. And you know, the best tool is the one you have on hand. And I had the pack-out system, so I bought the pack-out ratchet set to go with that system. And it's the one I had on the truck, so it's the one I used. So yeah, it's a great ratchet. Feels good in the hand. It's a 90 tooth. Sounds good. But yeah, it doesn't have, I prefer a quick release. Obviously doesn't have a quick release, but you know, you work with what you have. It's not a deal breaker for me, but some people prefer the quick release, some don't. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and clear some space here so that we can't pick up the power tool without pulling the trigger, so that we can take this apart and kind of show you how it's made. Unfortunately, I do not have a Milwaukee Torx bit, Torx driver, but I'm going to use my Vera Torx T10. This is actually a security Torx, but they just use regular T10 Torx. So let's go ahead and carefully, don't want to strip that out. Keep that magnetic tray handy. You don't want to lose any parts. If I could get it in there. It fits really tight. I'm going to do another series on these Vera screwdrivers. They're great. German company, made in the Czech Republic, but that's not why we're here. So once you get those screws out, we're going to take the faceplate off. I don't know if you can tell, it is a really thick faceplate. I mean, I love that. All right, now that it's off, I'm gonna grab a shop towel here, get some of this lube off of there. There's your 90 tooth gear. Let's see. Does not have, I think Catus Maximus, who I mentioned in previous videos, he did a teardown on one of these, and he did note that it does not have a gasket around the anvil, so that part of it is not sealed. It does have a gasket right here. I'm not going to take it out because I don't want to mess it up. So this part, the faceplate is sealed, but there is no sealing around the anvil. Catus Maximus, his theory was it's about back drag. If you put that seal there, you're going to get more back drag. So maybe that's why they did it. So it's got, oops, got to be careful with these parts. I just shot some across the room, but there's the spring and there's the retainer there. Here is quite a hefty pawl. I don't know if you can read it. It says 1/2 inch MW90T. So, I mean, if you look at the size of that, it is actually slightly, I think it's just the same size, maybe even slightly wider than the gear. So it's a pretty substantial pawl, especially for a 90 tooth. All right, I have taken this apart and lubed it up before, so it does have some lube in there. I'm gonna clean that up. This is the most unique, oh, I moved the gasket. Let's get that back in place before I lose it. But as you can see, it's well sealed. All right. It's the most uniquely designed ratchet mechanism I've seen. One of the things that's unique about it is it has this retaining clip. I don't know if you can see that. It's this piece right here. And that's what helps hold the switch in. So I'm going to see if I can grab it and pull it out. There it goes, comes right out. If you'll notice, it's got like a little, it's got, the top part is wider than the bottom part. It's got like a little indent here. So the long, skinnier portion goes back into the selector. So when we put it back together, we'll need to keep that in mind. The next thing, I dread doing this because this is not easy to get it back together, but if you flip it over, the switch comes out the back side. You got to be very careful because there is a ball bearing in there. And I think there it is. Apparently my pick is magnetized, but there's your ball bearing. Drop that in there so we don't lose it. And there's your switch. And if you notice, the switch does have a gasket. So it has 2 gaskets keeping it sealed. The only way you could get foreign debris, dust, stuff like that in is around the gear. And like I said, or as Kat has pointed out, we think that is because of back drag. If you add that gasket, you're going to end up with a lot of extra back drag. And there's the spring. So that's your full takedown. There are, counting the screws, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, I think 11 total parts. Plus the handle itself in there. I've pulled the gasket out again. So let me see if I can get that back in there. I know I don't want to lose that. And it is a very, I mean, it is super small. Very tiny. So, I'll make sure that's in there. All right, so this handle is quite substantial. I haven't weighed it. I guess I could weigh it. I do have a gravity detection device here. See, so that's zeroed out. I don't know if you can see that. Just the handle itself weighs 1 pound, almost 7 ounces. So that's pretty substantial. If you needed to defend yourself, that would make a pretty good weapon. But anyway, I'm going to set that aside. Let me turn it off first. Okay, so that's the full teardown. Now, putting it back together can be slightly more complicated, so I'm going to have to relocate. I'm going to take it over to the vise because getting that ball bearing back in is the hardest thing. It took me 6 or 7 tries last time, and I think the problem I was having was I was trying to do it the wrong way. If you notice, the hole, I don't know if you can see it. Let me see. Yeah, there it is. That's the hole down there where the spring goes, right there. And then the ball bearing sits right on top of that. So in order to get the switch mechanism back in, you have to get that spring, depress the ball bearing, and then slide this in. The problem is there's not really a lot of room in there. Now I tried using the wire tool that I used for the Craftsman, and it took forever to do, but I think I'm going to try it a different way. So just give me 1 second and I'll get that set up. Okay, so we've now moved over to the workbench. I'm in the vise. I'm going to start by putting the spring down in that hole. I'm trying not to get in the way of the camera. I want you guys to see as best you can, but I also need to get in there to work. So, okay. Okay, spring in the hole. The next thing we need to do is place the ball bearing. Oh, gotta get that spring down there a little bit more. There we go. Replace the ball bearing on top of that spring. The hard part is, because I'm using magnets a lot, the ball bearing has become magnetized. So let's see if I can get it in there. Okay, get in there. Whoops, almost had it. Stay. Just when you think you have it, you don't. Don't want to lose that little baby. And I believe I got it. So after many failed attempts and one lost ball bearing, which I lost it 3 times but found it. The 4th time I lost it for good, but luckily, once again, the 4mm replacement fixed it. And unless something breaks, I am never taking this ratchet apart again. At least not that portion of it. So after that, the next piece you're going to put in is the retainer. It's just a little flat pen-like object, and you want to make sure you don't lose. Once we fought so hard to get that ball in there, we don't want to lose it. So it just slides right down in that slot. Make sure you're putting it in the slot all the way in the back, not in the hole where the spring goes. So that's in place. We're going to take the longer but skinnier spring. We're going to put it inside of the retainer there. we're going to slide it back in that hole. Get in there. Whoops. All right. And then we're going to take our pawl. We're going to have the riding side out where it says 1/2 inch MW90T. We're going to set it on top of that and compress it. And we're going to set it to one side. And then we're going to take our gear and just, well, that's the theory. Let's try it again. I want to make sure we've got that spring in there compressed. Well, and then our gear is going to slide right in over that. There we go. Now that we have that done, I like to use this 3-in-1 PTFE lubricant. It doesn't gum up, and anything, I consider anything 72 teeth and above to be pretty fine tooth. I don't like to use a grease, even a synthetic grease in there, because it tends to gum up things. But because this is a sealed head ratchet and I want to lubricate it, I'm going to use the PTFE, which it doesn't gum up. So I'm just going to give it a nice coating there. Everything's magnetic now. We're going to take our faceplate and make sure the recessed holes are on the top. Set it in there. Your number 10 Torx driver. Very carefully, don't want to cross thread it. Get that one started. You may see a little bit of lubricant squeezing out. As I said, there is no gasket around the anvil, so you can get a little bit of lubricant leaking out of there, as you'll see. But we'll clean that up. Everything's working fine. Disassembly, lubrication, reassembly is a success. So there is your Milwaukee family of hand ratchets. Like I said, Milwaukee's only been in the hand tool business since about 2010. I'm not really sure when these ratchets came out. I know when they first initially released their hand tools, all they really had were pliers and screwdrivers. This is not one of those original screwdrivers, but I do like this set. These are not, I believe these are made in Hong Kong, but they do have a set that they are starting to make tools in the USA again. And I do have a set of pliers and screwdrivers, or one pair of pliers and a set of screwdrivers that are USA made. I'm going to review those in the near future when I'm going to do a series on USA made tools and the importance of that. But anyway, I hope you found this video to be informational. Please don't do as I do. Do as I say. If you're doing a brake job or you get any kind of a brake cleaner, carburetor cleaner, anything like that on your chrome tools, clean them off before you put them away. I made that mistake, and as you can see, this is what it should look like. Nice, pretty, shiny. This is what it does look like. You can see it's nice and shiny down here. I guess I didn't get any brake cleaner down there, but up here on the business end, apparently I got some, and on that side too. And I put it away, it pitted, moisture got on it, it rusted. I was able to get most of the rust off thanks to some rust remover, Evapo Rust, and a brass wire wheel. I was able to get all that off of there because it was looking pretty bad. But anyway, same thing with the sockets. Make sure you keep them clean, keep the corrosives off of them, and they'll last you a lifetime. I mean, I'm going to keep using this wrench It's my go-to wrench, even though, like I said, I have much more expensive wrenches. I don't know if I said this before, but the 1/4 inch at Home Depot right now is going for 35 bucks. The 3/8 is 44, and the 1/2 inch is going for 66. I got all of these in sets, so I didn't buy the wrenches individually. I really do like their sets, and like I said, I'll go over those in the near future. But if you have any questions, comments, please like, subscribe, and as always, guys, ramble on.